Steam has some massive deals going on right now, but we're only going to look at the highest rated games that are on discount. And I am going to start with the biggest title, Witcher 3, 80% off at $8, and this is one of the greatest games ever made at a price that is genuinely hard to believe. An enormous open world RPG with some of the best writing, characters, and quests in the entire genre. The main story is phenomenal, the side quests are better than most games' main stories, and the 2 expansions, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, are included in the complete edition and are both absolutely outstanding. Next up, we got Yakuza Like a Dragon, 60% off at $8, and this is the perfect entry point into the series if you have never played one. The franchise pivoted to turn-based RPG combat here, and it works brilliantly, and honestly, Ichiban Kasuga is one of the most lovable protagonists in gaming. The story of betrayal and redemption is genuinely gripping, and the combat abilities are absolutely hilarious. Then we got Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, 90% off at $4, and this is one of the greatest stealth tactics games ever made at an almost insultingly low price. You're commanding a squad of specialists in feudal Japan, using each character's unique abilities to infiltrate and eliminate targets across beautifully designed levels. The depth, the creativity, and the satisfaction of a perfectly executed plan make it an absolute gem. Next is Little Nightmares 2, 85% off at $4.49, and this atmospheric horror platformer is one of the most visually stunning and genuinely unsettling games in the genre. The creature design is terrifying, the world building is incredible, and the sense of being small and completely vulnerable against monstrous threats creates a dread that never lets up. Then we got Gris, 75% off at $3.74, and this is one of the most visually breathtaking games ever made. A wordless platformer about grief and healing told entirely through gorgeous watercolor animation and an outstanding soundtrack. The gameplay is gentle and the experience is short, but the emotional impact it leaves is something very few games achieve. A masterpiece of visual art and interactive form. Then we got Persona 5 Royal, 80% off at $12, and alongside The Witcher 3, this is one of the highest rated games on this entire list, for a reason. The style is completely unmatched, the story grips you for over 100 hours, the social simulation is deep and rewarding, and the turn-based combat is some of the most satisfying in the genre. If you have never experienced Persona 5 Royal, there is genuinely no better time. Next is It Takes Two, 65% off at $14, and this co-op only Game 1 Game of the Year for a reason. You and a partner play as a couple going through a divorce who get magically shrunk and have to work together to find a way back. Every single chapter introduces completely new gameplay mechanics that are inventive, perfectly executed, and constantly surprising. It is one of the most creative and heartfelt co-op experiences ever made. Then we got Slay the Spire, 75% off at $6.24, and this is the game that essentially invented the roguelite deck builder genre as we know it today. You're building a card deck run by run, combining synergies, and pushing as deep into the Spire as you can. The balance is extraordinary, every run feels different, and the depth of strategy available is genuinely staggering. Next up we got Like a Dragon Gaiden, 70% off at $14.99, and this is Kiryu's story, a fan favorite character given one. Final chapter before the events of Infinite Wealth. The combat is fast and incredibly satisfying, the story is genuinely emotional for anyone who has followed the series, and the overall package is more focused and leaner than the mainline entries. Then we got Sonic Mania, 75% off at $5, and this is widely considered the best Sonic game ever made, a love letter to the classic Genesis era that captures everything that made those games special and adds new ideas that feel completely authentic. The speed, the level design, the music, all of it is outstanding. Even people who have not touched a Sonic game in decades love this one. Next is Titanfall 2, 85% off at $4.49, and this has one of the greatest single-player campaigns in first-person shooter history. It's a fact that still gets repeated years after release because it is just that good. The movement system is some of the most satisfying ever designed in an FPS, and the campaign uses it in ways that are constantly creative and surprising. A legendary game that never got the audience it deserved. Then we got Tinykin, 80% off at $5, and this collectathon platformer is one of the most joyful and charming games in recent memory. You're a tiny astronaut exploring a normal house that is enormous from your perspective, working with small creatures to solve puzzles and reach new areas. It radiates warmth and creativity and is one of those games that just puts you in a genuinely good mood. Next up, we got Steins Gate, 70% off at $9. And this visual novel is one of the most beloved and highly rated story experiences in the entire medium. A time travel thriller set in Akihabara that starts quietly and builds into one of the most gripping and emotionally devastating narratives in gaming. If you enjoy story-driven experiences and have never played Steins Gate, this is a genuinely unmissable experience. Then we got Streets of Rogue, 80% off at $4, and this is one of the most creative and replayable roguelites on Steam, an anarchic top-down game where you're completing missions across a procedurally generated city using whatever means you choose: stealth, combat, hacking, or just causing absolute chaos. The sheer variety of character classes and approaches makes every run feel completely different. Next is Beacon Pines, 70% off at $6, and this narrative adventure game is a genuinely lovely and underrated gem. You're exploring a mysterious town, collecting words that let you change the outcome of story moments, and slowly uncovering a dark secret beneath the charming surface. The storybook framing device is clever, and the writing is warm and engaging throughout. Then we got Yoku's Island Express, 80% off at $4, and this is one of the most creative and genuinely delightful indie games you will find at this price. It combines Metroidvania exploration with pinball mechanics in a way that sounds completely bizarre and works absolutely brilliantly. The world is gorgeous, the characters are charming, and the whole experience radiates joy from start to finish. Next up, we got Bang On Balls Chronicles, 65% off at $8.74, and this co-op collectathon is one of the most entertaining and chaotic games to play with friends. You are literal balls rolling through huge historical settings, causing absolute mayhem, and the level variety and co-op energy make every session genuinely hilarious. A great pick for anyone wanting something fun to share with someone. Then we got Speedrunners, 80% off at $3, and this competitive multiplayer platformer is one of the best party games on Steam. Racing and using grappling hooks to outrun opponents while the screen scrolls and knocks anyone behind out of the round is fast, chaotic, and endlessly entertaining with friends. Next is Little Nightmares, 85% off at $3, and if you have not played the original, this is where the nightmare began. You play as Six, a tiny girl in a yellow raincoat trying to escape a monstrous vessel, and the creature design and atmosphere are still phenomenal. It's kinda short, terrifying, and unforgettable for under $3. Then we got Assetto Corsa, 75% off at $5, and this is still one of the most respected driving simulations on PC. The physics model is outstanding, the modding community has kept it thriving for years, and the sheer variety of cars and tracks available makes it incredibly deep. Next up, we got Heavenly Bodies, 66% off at $0.6079, and this zero-gravity physics puzzle game is one of the most unique and hilarious co-op experiences on PC. You're a cosmonaut performing tasks in space with no ability to control your legs, just your arms, and trying to do anything at all in zero gravity with a partner is consistently chaotic and funny. Then we got Battlefield 1 95% off at $2, and this is still one of the greatest multiplayer shooters ever made. The World War I setting is stunning, the scale of the battles is breathtaking, and Operations Mode especially delivers some of the most epic multiplayer moments you will find in any game. For under $2, this is one of the best deals on the entire list. Next is Surgeon Simulator 2, 85% off at $3, and this is pure co-op fun. You and friends performing increasingly absurd surgeries with completely unwieldy controls is consistently hilarious, and while it is not a game you will spend hundreds of hours, in it is an absolute riot for a session with friends. Then we got Crazy Machines 3, 90% off at 99 cents, and this physics-based Rube Goldberg puzzle game is a genuinely satisfying and creative experience for under $1. You're building elaborate chain reaction machines to accomplish simple tasks, and the physics sandbox gives you enormous freedom to experiment. It's a great pick for puzzle fans at a tiny price. Next up, we got Lizards Must Die, 80% off at 79 cents, and this fast-paced arcade action game is a fun and chaotic little pickup for under $1. It offers waves of enemies, tight controls, and that addictive one more run quality. Nothing revolutionary, but for under $1, it delivers exactly what it promises. And then we got SOS Ops, 90% off at just 49 cents, a budget co-op action game where you and friends complete rescue missions across chaotic scenarios. The production values are modest, and it is clearly a budget title, but at 49 cents the bar is on the floor and it clears it for a quick session with someone. Nothing more, nothing less.